10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. LGD's turn to ban.
Major presented by Perfect World. It is time for our last series of Group C and our last series of the day as well. Newbee versus LGD. Let's get ourselves right into the draft because that is where we are at right now. And I will introduce our panel members while we look at what these two teams have in store for each other. Winter, Gaunt, they're on the couch. LGD. Hereby on the side, everything you say has to be pro LGD. Everything you say, Merlini, as sitter, has to be pro Newbee.
Uh-oh.
LGD of maybe. That guy is maybe. Okay, let's go. LGD of maybe. This guy is like the best player in China. How do you beat maybe?
NewB has first pick.
Yeah.
Take that. What now?
LGD has ROTK.
LGD has ROTK.
Okay, that was not a fan.
But what do you feel like LGD is going to be learning from OG? Because that's basically what it goes.
They're going to be learning from NewB, because NewB are the shit. They're so good.
Okay.
They're going to learn a lot.
I think the last series is almost for like LGD don't take anything from the last series into this series. They all they're going to take is from the previous best of 3 because this is a rematch from the first round. Yeah. So for both teams, NewB will maybe look a little bit at what LGD did last game, but more than anything, they're going to be like, hey, what happened in the last best of 3? What worked for us? Like when you play 2 best of 3s against the same team in a row, like a little mini metagame in itself develops from game to game, where you may see some weird heroes banned just because it was so important in that series. So we'll see stuff like the Enchantress like prioritized, banned out, and
you should know very well about that Enchantress.
Oh yeah, all about it.
You have a Newbie who just watched LGD get beaten. He learned from that. Maybe.
Beastmaster first pick. NewBee fans right there. What do you guys think?
Good hero.
Bad hero.
It's a bad hero. Are you going to stand by that? Seriously, you believe that much in LGD?
I'm just standing by the LGD.
Elder Titan is a bad hero.
10 seconds.
That hero is 2-0.
Yeah, that's the second time I was like, oh, that's maybe they sometimes lie.
LGD's
back to the old team fight.
LGD love their
Witch Doctor Prophet. They opened it a few times already.
They've been picking RTK's hero very early in the draft often when they can't get the Enchantress.
What happened to Phoenix? They used to love Phoenix.
I think it's quite situational.
For some of these teams, it's not situational.
We saw from here.
Only for eHome. You're the only one that opens every.
Vici did it.
We saw Vici.
LGD used to do it.
But they all lost.
I just think in the past,
They still like it.
if you look at the last 6 months in China, I think RTK is probably the player that played it the most though. He has picked it quite a lot of times.
We need some scans.
So if actually good now,
I don't think he's played it that much.
He was doing TI, right?
He played a lot like last month too.
That was going back to eHome where they had the Wyvern plus Phoenix strat, but during LGD, he's been playing much more Darkseer type. He's been playing much more like the tanky kind of initiator types.
It's actually crazy that he's so good at Darkseer that it gets first phase banned. It's like no other teams that get banned against.
You know what I heard?
Respect ban.
They said that he's a player that only can play Darkseer.
You heard that?
Yeah.
Well, then they're 4 and 5
because
already.
According to the stats, that's his hero that has the highest win rate.
You mean the RTK, right?
Yeah.
But he said, because I asked him in his interview, why are you only playing like you have Darkseer ban out against you? You know, I asked him about Darkseer and he said, well, I am probably just too noob and I can only play Darkseer. That's actually what he said. With a smile on his face, granted, but yeah, he said that.
What champ?
Champ?
What's a champ?
He's great at Spirit Breaker.
Yeah.
It's like a hero that's acceptable to die a few times on.
That hero's just so bad.
They're using so much of their time.
It's really not good.
Yeah, this is actually...
And you talked to him at Nature's Play, what else?
Druid?
We're gonna pick up a They're not really a first
For
stage
solid
group
opening,
team.
it's like you pick
They might be
Prophet,
considering
or
Chen.
you pick Bad Rider, heroes like that.
RTK hero. Again though, it's picking up RTK's hero in the first stage.
Yeah, because they want to keep like Sylar and maybe Shiro
Don't play anything
after
really,
that because
yeah.
they want to understand the game plan first and see what the enemy picked.
We've seen maybe play lots of. He's played the Sven in the safe
Pretty sure
lane.
he can play almost
Played the
anything.
PL one game. Like it's yeah.
Maybe it's a level 1 Roshan strat from the Radiant. That'd be way too bold. I want to see one.
Wait, guys, you're supposed to root for Newbee.
I am
Yeah,
rooting
he
for
said
them.
from the Radiant.
They're the Radiant.
Oh, that's a newbie with level 1 Roche. The one game where we had the Radiant level 1 Roche.
So Winter's basically been rooting for Newbee the whole time.
Chen.
There it is.
Chen.
Very nice.
It's One's most impactful heroes have often been these jugglers, yeah.
I think the reason Newbee spent a little bit of time thinking about this is that when you have Chen, you like 5-manning towers, or at least putting that pressure early. Tidehunter is one of the good defensive heroes against it, and they're picking it into Witch Doctor. So they're kind of willingly, they believe so much in it that they pick it against 2 heroes that are on paper pretty
They're
good.
sticking to the plan, but you say Tidehunter is good versus it, but if it comes too early, like sometimes you're off-lane par, you don't really get your level 6 stat early. You're not able to actually defend the early towers, the first few towers. Tide is having a really difficult.
Yeah, then they need to pick a lane that's very strong. Because for Chen to get those creeps early, he can't contribute to the lane.
Like strong lane, like maybe a Razor, like all those matchups.
Ursa.
Ursa?
Yeah.
OD.
Ursa's good.
Yeah, OD too. Like
OD is
those
good.
lanes are gonna.
Newbee will
push
play
the
OD
fight
too.
back.
How's we talked about how versatile like someone like maybe me. How I think is kind of similar. He'll play OD. He'll play a lifesteal. He'll play all kinds of different heroes.
We earlier today decided that both of these teams are not that great in the laning stage, or at least not that
I think Newbee's one of their strongest points
Yeah,
is the late
Newbee's
stage.
better at it.
Unlike some of they often go for much more aggressive ganking kind of heroes. Unlike maybe LGD or eHomes, I think it's another team who was quite weak in the laning stage.
You're not strong enough in the laning stage to beat LGD in the late game, because you know that your strength is in the laning stage, and enemy strength is late game for LGD. You're gonna go all in.
But right now I can see like the clash in styles. I think Newbee are planning for very heavy push because they're Beastmaster and Chen, and LGD could be just going for team fight. They're Tide and Witch Doctor. Usually the way you deal against teams that want to push early is you pick really strong team fight, so you can hold your towers and take a fight and try to push them back. Because usually with those Chen buffs, if you lose one fight, you need a lot of time to get your creeps in. You lose a lot of momentum from that.
LGD's turn to pick.
I think LGD is just so incredibly good at holding high ground that it's like, I don't even mind if they draft just to defend their base almost. As long as they don't like
So
lose all 6 towers and
Drop
put
greedy
0
with
pressure.
good high ground defense.
Yeah.
It almost goes without saying they're going to pick some, like, probably 2 carries here for maybe, as well as Sylar in their last 2 picks, like a Morphling, Terrorblade type hero for the safe lane, and then like a mid carry
You guys like Lina here?
for LGD.
Yeah, with the
They actually still lack some, they don't have any deep
burst,
push just
yeah.
yet.
They don't have burst.
Burst, deep push, like wave clear, they're definitely lacking that. I mean, Tidy's got Anchor Smash on the front lines, but against like a push, he's putting himself in harm's way then.
So hold high ground, they could pick Zeus as well.
10 seconds
Sexy.
remaining.
Pretty good against Chen. And when you have a bounty hunter helping you in mid, you can actually win lane as Zeus, which is very rare.
That's not their plan. They don't need nothing like that. If they have Bounty Hunter and Witch Doctor, they can play aggressively very early on.
Reserve time.
And that's not necessarily how they needed to play against Newbee to beat them earlier.
Right now, Newbee has a setup stun for Beastmaster. They have the Chen to push, so they need heroes that can deal damage and that can allow them to push as well.
Morphling, ban PL, and then they kind of opened up towards this Morphling pick that.
I feel like it's also maybe a bit of a counter to the knife picket to Sylar. Well, not a counter, but the knife picket Sylar.
Yeah, I know Andy said that before when we were on the panel with Andy. Possible, but
I think if they didn't want, they more than anything they want, because they could just stand it out. They're not gonna. Their third pick's never gonna be like a full-on block.
you know, like morphing is good with
remaining.
lineups because of because sometimes you see lineups of tempo, like you kind of have to waste some time to clear out your other lanes. But with morphing or lone druid, you can always use the bear or the replica to push other lanes, so it speeds up your tempo really well.
Or you can like leave a replicate behind, Chen sends you back, replicate
despite
back
being
in.
a hero that's much slow paced, like if you were expecting like something more fast paced in a push draft. Right?
And Chen Morphling's really good late game. You can have the like send back and then blow someone out with EB and then get out. It's
the fish again.
Yeah, so they pick a carry that can match up pretty well against.
Really good versus morphing. Really good versus a raw.
and they just got owned by it.
Well,
That's the downside of. I feel like picking in this metagame right now. It's rarely good to pick your carry third. I think you pick it fourth or fifth most of the time because you give so much information away and you can allow the enemy team to counterpick you very much.
Out of a gyro.
Morphling is not very flexible. I guess. Well, even with a gyro, I would say nowadays it's not. It's just better to pick it fourth if you can get away with it. Like imagine Newbie pick a gyro now and then they ban the.
Hey, maybe they're gonna do offlane Morphling. That's what happened last time. They picked Morphling,
That's
and they
actually
picked PL, and
true.
they're like, offlane Morphling, let's go.
Beastmaster.
Yeah, Beastmaster mid, no problem.
Yeah, then
I don't think they will, but
then don't have damage.
yeah. I'm
good.
just theoretically, like Newbie showed, like, oh, they're willing to.
Two super long duration stuns against Slark.
Yeah,
What could possibly go wrong? Oh, they got
Can't
the
dark pack both of them. We'll just stagger them. And then where's the damage when he does get stunned? Alright, third stun, he didn't dark pack that one.
So, for your last pick, Gods in Winter for your team, what would you like to see?
You mentioned Lena, I think. So good. It's Morphling, you want to be able to. You want burst damage here. So Lena has burst damage.
Reserve time.
Zeus is good too.
Zeus is still good, I agree.
Newbee's
What other, maybe
turn
hero
to
pool,
ban.
he loves Ember. They have to pick before Newbie, so I don't think they want to go into something that may get countered.
I actually like Lina a little bit
Yeah, I like
more
Lina.
because of the bounty under the track, because it's easier for. I know Cinderella mentioned like bounty can help the Zeus stabilize in the lane, but I think that with Lina you can actually
10
win the lane
seconds
harder.
remaining.
So I prefer that a little bit more.
They
and
banned Viper, what do you think that says about what they might want?
maybe Zeus, I don't know, because Zeus sucks versus Viper.
I think if
But it could also be because they're banning a hero that would synergize very well with the Chen.
Any chance they go for TA?
LGD's
OG,
turn to
man.
pick.
Maybe for LGD? Yeah, still possible. OG
I
is
don't-
still really good.
if LGD
They
pick,
don't have any wave, like I feel like they do like wave clear a lot still too.
Yeah.
if they pick a weak mid, I think Newbie can just put the Morphling mid and pick another hero for the safe lane that beats Tide.
Yeah, but
more.
if they pick if
So that's why they kind of have to.
Lina is like it's just like somewhat in between. You're wave player, you're good, really good in the late. You're somewhat good late game as well.
10
A pretty good
seconds
pick.
remaining.
There's also Puck. Oh, Lone Druid.
Whoa.
Wow.
So it's Lone Druid mid.
Newbee's
So
turn
this is
to
like
pick.
we've seen LG done this like a few times already today. They have been always like the 4th and 5th pick. They have been going like super greedy cores. They have 2 cores that are essentially position 1 heroes, and they're just like forcing the enemy to punish you. Like they go so greedy that you have to be doing something all the time because you can't outgrade them.
Kind of like maybe
Newbie.
Death Proc
For newbie right
Yeah.
now.
be really good, I think.
10 seconds remaining.
You can siphon the bear, so that the lane it's very difficult for Bounty
5
Hunter to just
seconds
shut down the DP. Alternatively, you get someone with some mobility that doesn't get too phased by it, and you just
Reserve
accept
time.
that you get harassed a
Yeah,
little
and they
bit.
can punish the
5
greed with it very
seconds
easily.
remaining.
Take down all the towers.
Yeah.
Oh, the push is real.
All in push.
The
Well,
push
kind
is
of all
real.
in. They still have the more thing, but
Yeah, but
they want to be able to get all the towers, and then once they
Yeah.
have all the towers map control, then they can use the Morphling to secure late game
They're
as well.
not going to want to go late game against that, but
Yeah.
it's maybe playing the slug. Slug mid?
Well, it's Silo. I think they'll still do Silo
Silo
mid.
mid.
He played like the Lycan mid, but Silo's
Oh, yeah.
Lone Druid is one of the best out there. So
Merlini
I'm
Sin,
not surprised.
why is your team gonna win? Why is Newbie gonna win?
Because they
They
pick,
all in.
they pick Pugna's own.
I think they all
That's
in.
a terrible reason.
I feel like we're going to use that reason as to why LGD's
That
going to
means
win.
you could just say Lone Druid's ownage.
Yeah, but it's not cool.
I'd say they fully committed to a very heavy push strat. I think they could have, kind of half-assed it with, a
10 seconds
standard
remaining.
like Death Prophet or something like that. The skill's a little bit better, but Pugna is completely different from
5
most of the things that we've
seconds
seen. He can take down your towers. You're forced to fight under the war. They have to Chen the Beastmaster. They can take down Roche very easily. It's scary.
We're gonna
Oh, boy.
outgreed you guys and RTKs on Tide Hunter.
Let's see which couch is gonna have the right of it. It is time for game number 1, LGD versus Newbie with Odie Pixel and Draskell.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and indeed we are here with Newbee versus LGD. I'm Odie Pixel. I'm here with Draskell, and Draskell, final series of the day. We've already seen this matchup. We're gonna see it again. Are you expecting anything different this time?
Well, I really like Newbee's draft this game, actually. I think that it's nice that they ended with the Pugna, push the pace of the game a little bit, and not to mention the fact that it's core. It'll get a lot of farm priority. I think with that in conjunction with the Chen, it might be a little bit too fast for LGD. They do have Slark and Lone Druid, who do require a little bit of items before they can actually start to fight in the 5 versus 5. So they're going to be relying pretty heavily on this Bounty Hunter kind of information he can get during the early game. Like, can MMY slow down the Chen at all? I think that's going to be pivotal
30
here for LGD to have a good
seconds.
early game.
See, in terms of the lanes, is this going to be standard stuff from both teams, or do you see anyone swapping it around, you know, reacting to what the opposition is going to be doing here at the start?
I think the panel kind of hit the nail on the head. Just have Sylar mid on the lone druid, and then maybe safe lane. Slark is not really that strong of a laner, so you don't want to put him in a position where he's going to be up against any kind of ranged hero, or even potentially like Chen roams. Even if it doesn't kill him, it's still going to completely stop his farm.
Battle begins.
Well, Newbee will be able to secure themselves the bounty here. How on the morphing, and we'll get it for the lone druid. There we have it. And if the first series was anything to go by when we saw these teams go together, it should be a close one. And when I was saying, I wouldn't be surprised if we see this one go the full 3 matches.
That very well could. It did last time, didn't it?
It did indeed.
Yeah. It happened that the LGD edged out Newbee by 1 game, so looks like it's going to be Morphling mid up against Lone Druid. I think neither of these heroes are obviously going to kill each other, but it should be a matchup that I think Sylar will probably start to pull ahead, at least in the later couple of levels, especially once you start getting entangled, harassed quite heavily. But we can already see MMY doing his thing, just following around Chuan. This is something that we saw a lot a couple of patches ago when Bounty Hunter was super prevalent. Anytime a jungler is around, you just go get the information, harass him, make sure he can't get any creep. That's kind of what's happened so far. I think he body blocked the other camp as well, so he can't get any large camp except for the one.
On having to make himself make his way down there to the bottom mid lane. MMY just coming in for a bit of harassment onto Hao. Him back. Hao does drop the sentry, so he's going to be ready for the next time that MMY comes into the lane. See indeed how well Hao's able to keep up the farm against Sylar's lone druid. Down on the bottom lane, you're tied into RTK. You're going to have to deal with this because there's going to be a bit of action as Lei comes forward with the telekinesis. They have got the troll trap as well, and there with the blast, RTK getting incredibly low. He's going to try and walk this one off. He has got 1 point in the passive, but it's not going to be enough there to stop them from getting the kill. And that's going to be first blood there to your safe lane Pugna.
A really nice rotation. Like I said, the fact that Pugna gets it too means that if he wants, yeah, he just finishes up the Bassi. Might think go earlier Canes, depending if he wants to let Chuan buy him or not. It'd be nice to be able to open up with the mech though.
On top lane. Too late. Bit of response from the side of LGD. They say you kill our offlaner, we'll kill yours, and there we have it. They themselves get them on the board, and again going to the safe lane position. One that kills Slark picks it up.
I still feel, well, LGD are doing extremely well in terms of CS. Like Sylar is 12-5 minutes. That's actually like insane.
Oh, Hao. He could be in trouble here. MMY, he's got himself the S4 special, and Hao, well, it's going to be a little bit too much for him. LGD with another pickoff. MMY zipping into the lane there with a haste ring.
I wonder if he could have lived there. I think he morphed too much and then ran out of mana for waveform because he was still carrying a fairy fire as well. I think if he waveforms onto the tower, it might be a little bit too risky for the bounty hunter to dive, but it's a really nice rotation from MMY as well.
For the moment, just line up Chuan. Tabs here on the whereabouts of the gen. They're coming out there, so I think by the senses he out that animation, he knows that MMY is hanging about, keeping himself safe and sound towards the bottom. But as you said, CS wise, on the 2 course, really favouring the side of the Dire. LGD coming out at the top laning at the moment.
Now, there's a ton of pressure on Chuan to do things, but it's just so difficult. Like, what other hero on Newbee can deal with a bounty hunter? The Rubik is not a hero who, on paper, has the tool set to be able to stop a bounty roaming around, so there's no one who can really relieve any of that pressure, and unless RTK continually dies, which he's going to take some... Oh, actually, better blast
look off the map.
But, like, they can't really expect to kill any lanes for the Chen rotation except for maybe Sylar, and that requires good creeps, but apparently the rotation is going to be towards the top lane. Maybe they just want to try to get the Witch Doctor, stop maybe's farm a bit.
Someone can do hit. This one. Troll summoner around with the trap. Alright, gonna come through and full on the vision, under the vision of LGD, so exactly what's going on. Purples will be flown out. The purple man, the now MMY, he's gonna probably hang around for that 4-minute rune top. Ward there coming from Hao on the Morphling, and MMY, he's gonna say, haha, you want the rune, son? We're going to get in. He is going to be the arcane rune here for MMY, so now he's going to give it a bit of a go onto Hao. Sylar coming in as well, and he gets the entangle. Hao will waveform up to the high ground, but MMY and Sylar are going to continue to chase. They sort of call in the bear, block him in the tree line. Hao, out of mana, out of luck, will get taken down. and a nice bit of play there again from LGD. They'll look for a response. NewBee, they send in Lei, they send in Moo. They're trying to get Sylar, but he's a little bit too fast. Can he get himself away? He's going to be fine. He's got the Fairy Fire. And now MLY trying to turn around onto Lei. Moo throwing out the Nether Blast, and Sylar, he tried to come back in, but he's incredibly low. He's got to be careful. Moo turns MLY, but they entangle the root from the bear. Sylar continues to fight. Moo now out of mana. He throws out his final Nether Blast, and MLY still with the Arc Hammer, trying to do as much as he can. Lei, he's dropped down the sentry, gets the telekinesis off. He's trying to get the kill on MMY. It's not enough. Waveform forward from Hal. He's looking for the bounty, but he can't quite get it. MMY out of the range of the sentry, and will it escape? A little bit of a mess there in the mid lane, but LGD, they don't lose Sylar, and they don't lose MMY.
My god, that play from Sylar was so good on the Lone Druid. He blocked both this, like the 1 unit wide tree pass that he could have taken out, one with the bear and then one with himself to make sure that they would get that kill. This early game is just a disaster right now for NewBee. They've already lost the Morphling 2 times, a hero who I really expect to have too hard of a time living against the Lone Druid Bounty, and between the two of them, they don't have it disabled until level 5. Very surprising that Hao has managed to drop twice already. It looks like they're going to adapt lanes a little bit. They're going to send Hao towards the bottom lane, maybe start to put the Pugna mid. But I think Pugna might be just as killable as Morphling, if not more so.
I mean, we saw that Moo did try and go in on the Pugna, try for some action in the mid, but yeah, they had the Rubik around, because without the Rubik, so with one good route, Sylar on the Lone Druid is just going to turn around and take you down. That is now going to be your Midas done before the 6-minute mark here on your mid lane Lone Druid.
Insane. This is like the perfect start for LGD. Chen, up to this point, he's only been involved in 1 kill, and that was on ROTK, which, to be honest, the offense doesn't even matter that much. Oh, MMY takes another rune away from Hao.
This bounty hunter, he's a sneaky one.
That empty bottle as well. Like, he has to go to base now. This is so bad. He's having a horrible game. Dying 2 times, getting your rune stolen twice in a row as well.
Oh, we can certainly see why some of the teams, when they go against these Chinese sides, they ban out the bounty. People like MMY, they're an absolute nightmare with the hero.
He's been playing so well, not just on the Bounty Hunter, but in the last series against OG when he was playing Rubik. Like, this guy is completely out of control. It really feels to me like the support players this tournament are kind of being the standout players a lot of the time. And Pylai died from Secret as well when we had the group stage a couple of days ago for that series. He was playing insane as well. Just seems like the sports are stepping it up big.
And we have it now, NewBee. They want to try and look for an objective. They realize, yeah, we're kind of going into the lanes as individuals. It isn't working out too great. They'll group up, start for push up on the tier 1 top with the help of Moo with his DD here. Should be able to find it, and this is going to limit a bit of the space, of course, for Maybe and get map control around this area for NewBee, so they can try and shut down the slog, which they're going to need to start doing, because still the CS for that man, second highest on the board, only behind Sylar's Lone Druid. It is looking scary for NewBee. Got to have some answers to the problems that are going to be coming up soon in the mid game.
The one benefit to their lineup, though, is that they don't really need items to push. Like, having a mech is nice, and having arcane boots and whatnot, but if you have Pugna and Chen, you can always kill towers, at the very least tier 1s. Wise up here with the trying to scout that out. There's a sentry, but he's not gonna walk into it. But as far as lineup goes, the Slark can't really fight into 5-man Dota this early on. He needs a lot of items, and in the last series when OG were picking the hero, they weren't playing against Chen, and they weren't playing against heavy push. They were just playing against high-tempo teams who want a team fight. I think that's okay for Slark, as long as you're not going to be losing all your towers in the first 10 to 15 minutes, but NewBee have a lineup who can do that. Anytime you have a Pugna, there's the potential to lose all your out of your towers very quickly.
It's going to be the Midas done here for your Slark. As you're talking about the item build, you think we're going to see some of the thing that it was Miracle did do in that last game we saw from OG, where he goes for the blink straight after the Midas, or are there other items this game that maybe he's going to want to prioritize?
It's very common to go for like the Midas Treads Aquila Blink. That's a really nice build. Aquila keeps your mana kind of topped off if you don't have like a CM or something on your team, so that can be nice. But I think Miracle actually skipped it, didn't he? Didn't he not go Aquila and just go Blink after the fact? Maybe he did buy it, maybe he didn't. I can't recall exactly, but either way, the build-up is very strong because you don't really have on the side of NewBee a lot of heavy lockdown, and you can easily use Dark Pact to rid of Roar.
We've got a smoke here from NewBee, and this sentry's going to be nice. Catches out MMY straight away. They're moving on the bounty hunter, and they'll take him down immediately. Chuan will be credited with the kill. Just with these rotations and just dropping down the sentries, if you're getting the kills on MMY, it is, at this point, it's worth the 4 heroes.
Yeah, I think that the kill is nice, but it's just going to be icing on the cake. Because right now, all NewBee are looking for is the ability to push the tower. they don't necessarily need to kill the bounty hunter, because the one glaring weakness of LGD's lineup is they have very little deep push. All they have is a Tide Hunter. Granted, he's very close to mech right now and does have Ravage available, but all in all, their team is not so good at stopping the 5-man Dota at this early stage. They're kind of waiting for item progression on the Slark, waiting for item progression on the Lone Druid, where they're going to feel totally comfortable in the situation.
The LGD are eyeing up Newbee, looking for an opening, and they'll get the gush onto New. MMY and RTK moving forward. He tries to get off the Ravage, but the telekinesis is holding him back. He can't quite get it off. Now it comes through. Will clip onto 2. They'll take down the Pugner. Try and move in for more here, LGD. Looks like that will be that. You're happy with just the Pugner kill. Nice telekinesis to bring it up from Rubik, because I think if that off, that Ravage would have been a 3-man, and potentially 2, maybe even 3 heroes would have done.
That definitely could have been a lot worse. Maybe he's just gonna Midas the Ursa. Just add a little bit of insult to injury there on the side of Newbee. And I think he finished up Aquila. Yep, he did. Alright, so he's gonna take that route. I guess it kind of depends on what your playstyle is going to be. Oftentimes, just having this item in your inventory can secure you the ability to just spam Dark Pack non-stop because it only costs 40 mana, and it's on a 6-second cooldown, so it's a really nice pickup on most of the most games.
MMY's got eyes on Chuan here in the jungle, and Chuan fairly low. MMY chuck out the shuriken and bam! That's Chen down. MMY continue to be a nuisance here. Side of Newbee. Mid lane, the push coming through from the rest of the team. LGD, can they stop this one? Looks like up to let the tower go. Getting a bit more gold into the bank, so the push, as you said, is working out for Newbee. They are losing heroes across the map.
They need to keep on the pressure. But the problem is they have this kind of team where you really want to push towers, but Morphling is not an amazing teamfight hero by any stretch, and he needs a lot. So if they don't continually push and apply pressure and get money from towers, can't really split up. If they split up, then MMY is going to continually do what he has been, which is just getting solo kills on the Chen.
Oh, I think it leading on to maybe. We'll get
no way.
bounce off in time.
Dark Pack and Shadow Dance, it is way too hard for Newbee to catch him out. They kind of need either a Blink Initiation or like a roar out of a smoke. Like, those are the two ways you can catch him. The other problem is Slark has very good night vision. So sometimes when you're playing like Beastmaster and you smoke at night, you can potentially get a roar off before somebody sees you. The thing is, the smoke will be revealed and Slark can see very far. It's even more difficult to find that hero, and plus if there's a Hawk, he's gonna know, because his ultimate just breaks. There's so many things about Slark that are really good against Newbee's lineup this game.
What? Just on the edge of the sentry. It's like Newbee. I don't want to stick around for this one. They know that they're gonna caught the attention of LGD, and LGD indeed were there, ready to defend. There's space being given though to Silo. You look at him on the top lane on the Lone Druid, he's now got 2.7k in the bank, 6.2k net worth. He is, if it's not happened already, he is getting out of control, and they're going to need to do something to this man before he gets his relic.
I already think that Newbee are in a really awkward position. The Bounty Hunter just did way too much during the early game. How can you allow him to kill your mid player 2 times? Like, obviously one was a haste turn, so sometimes you just get a little bit unlucky, and speaking of, DDC might be a bit unlucky here.
He's got an Invis rune here. Let's see if he can set something up, but he's gonna need more of his team to come in and help out. There are 3 on the side of LGD down here. RTK does have the Ravaged. See if they can go on maybe. That should happen. With the Dark Pack now used, to follow it through with the Roar. Perfect chaining there of skills to take down the Slark before he can get the Shadow Dance off. And yes, like I guess just getting a little bit too greedy there. Didn't anticipate Newbee to be there, ready and waiting around the corner.
Well, I mean, that rune kind of helped out. You know, just having the instant disable. That's one good thing about having Rubik on your team. A lot of the time, if there's any telegraph stun, it becomes easier to Dark Pack, which is why the panel said that Roar is not really that good against Slark, because you can see it coming and you can time your Dark Pack accordingly. Just pop Shadow Dance afterwards and you're fine. Walk it off, quite literally, but if Rubik gets Blink Dagger, gets the lift into Roar, or has an Invis rune, then the story is completely different. And there's not really anything on the side of LGD that can help, except for maybe a mech and a Ravage. RTK went mech first. He doesn't have that range where he can kind of counter-initiate just yet. He's more waiting for speed to come to them.
See if Newbee can get away with this one. We've seen so far the strong push here, going in onto tier 1s.
He actually got track.
That's a very nice steal there for Lay. That's it's going to be really useful in these bushes. Keeping keeping track of the enemy behind the tier 2s. He's not going to be there much longer. Newbee will find the push, and Oh, we're talking about the fact that Newbee need to continue to find some momentum, and you can't argue with it at the moment. They certainly are, and it is a ticking time bomb though, because Sylar continuing to have all this space on the top lane. Newbee at the moment, they don't seem to be worried about that. They just seem to be fussed about pushing down these lanes, trying to do as much as they can to limit the map for LGD, but I think LGD will be happy as long as Sylar is getting the space.
Well, the thing about Pugna is he doesn't have to commit to the push, you know? Like, a lot of heroes want to sit there and auto-attack the tower. All Pugna has to do is what Boo's doing right now. You walk up, you throw out a blast, you walk back. Because of the fact that, again, LGD don't really have initiation just yet, no Blink Dagger is available on RTK, they're basically just putting themselves in a position where they can joust in and out of the tower. And there's really no opportunity for LGD to just walk into them and teamfight, as they're gonna just go ahead and back off after getting that damage in on the tier 3. So I expect them to just go ahead and clean up the mid tier 2 and the top tier 2. I don't think that LGD want to try to contest until they're going to be trying to breach high ground, just because it gives them the highest chance that Radiance is going to be done. And also now that track is available, it's the best opportunity for them to win a team fight. And I don't imagine that either team will go for Roshan unless they're able to find a pick.
I'm on wide, back in the Radiant jungle. Following around Chuan. Kind of hitting the track. Gonna be okay. It's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, what does the bounty build this game on top of the arcanes? So you've got the mech on the Tide Hunter. Does he just go for the medallion, the Solar Crest?
I think Solar Crest is really nice, actually, because you can put it on the bear, and if you want to try to kill Roshan early, or you know, you want to try to go for towers yourself. I mean, only one tower has been taken in favor of LGD. They've only gotten the offlane tier 1 because NewBee just group up right away, and they're just abusing the Pugna lineup as much as they can, just trying to get all the map control in the world, because they know the second they lose it against the Slark and Lone Druid Bounty, they can't ever really split up. Very hard to farm efficiently, and right now they're even getting ratted a little bit. Teller deciding if he wants to go bottom or not. Looks like there will be a little bit of a reaction here from NewBee.
Out down here, trying to do what he can to hold on to his power, but with the Ravage, they are going for this one. LGD, how though? He's morphing into strength, and here comes the backup. But LGD won't be able to find the kill. How fairly healthy, and well, RTK went for the straight up TP in front of the tap to strike, and how he'll stop it. RTK has now got to walk this one off. Our move will continue to chase, and now here comes the rest of NewBee, and ROTK. The back of a bit of an ambitious Ravage down to the Morphling, pays with his life after what was a very ballsy TP attempt in front of the Morph.
That might just be Roshan too. That was actually so awkward. You can't solo Ravage and Morphling, man. Like, that hero doesn't die. The amount of stat conversion that you get now from like morphing stats being a second. That is way too much health gained over the course of even like 4 or 5 seconds for a Slark Tide Hunter to be able to kill without any other form of real burst damage. Because look at their lineup. LGD don't have burst. That's why Morphling is so difficult for them to take down. Over the course of a fight, sure, Morphling might eventually lose to a Slark, but in those types of engagements, they wasted Ravage. Now RTK, because of his death, it ends up being Roshan for NewBee. This almost enables them to go high ground. This is a really bad thing for LGD.
LGD. I guess, I mean, in terms of obviously the pushes we're seeing from NewBee, as long as LGD can stop them from breaking the high ground, rather than they're running this double minus, they've got the Radiance now done on its way to the Lone Druid.
It's really hard to stop though. Again, it's about the fact that NewBee don't need to walk 5 heroes up to the high ground and hit the barracks. All they need is for Mu to walk forward and just keep throwing out Nether Blast. Now, granted, they do have Radiance, and they have the Blink available on the Slark, so if they want to try to take a fight on their own terms, like heck, as soon as Ravage is back up, they could maybe even go for a smoke themselves. And I think RTK is also closing in on his own Blink Dagger, which, if he hadn't died, he'd probably have it right now. I gotta say, if NewBee managed to claw their way back in, well, not claw their way back in, but maintain control of the game after killing that Roshan, that Ravage is going to be something that LGD are gotta be thinking about going forward.
Now, with the money ready to complete that Lincoln's first, so Morphing's going to be even harder for the side of LGD to catch out. You see why coming over into the lane. Not too much you can do here. He's trying to get him for the touch onto Hal. Maybe is here as well, but the two of them can get this kill. Let's see how please. Okay. Let's say goodbye to the Aegis first. Won't attempt to morph straight away. And now go for the strength gain. And out he goes with the waveform, walks it off. But they pop the Aegis relatively easily.
He was almost full agility when they jumped him. The amount of burst damage that Pounce Dark packed on a Shuriken can toss, that's pretty insane. And here comes the Siege.
Right, getting rooted immediately hit by Sylar's Lone Druid. And we'll ward this off. Guarding Greaves now pop by Moo. RTK is trying to move in for a big Ravage. He's eyeing it up, he's looking for perfect position. They're just going to chase down Lay though, go for the simple kill, take down the Rubik. Too Late's going to get himself out of there with the TP. Moo heading to the north, looking for the Duke and get it off here. Looks like they haven't got eyes on him, so Moo will escape. Tron going to be as lucky. Blink for from maybe. There's the track and the pounce forward maybe. He's going to start work here onto the Shen. And with that Shuriken toss, just allow maybe to close the gap here. Tron will pop the hand of God and tries to turn. And enough there. Moo trying to use the drain to take down Slot, but it's still going to be 2 dead on the side of Newbee. And LGD might have to pay with anyone's life this fight.
That's the best situation for LGD. When Newbee aren't fully committing to push, they knew how wasn't with them, so they just say, alright, well, we'll throw out a couple of tracks, we can chase them all the way across the map now that maybe has Blink on them as well. You're not really going to get away unless you manage to get a TP off, and there are a couple of ways to stop it, so like Entangle, Shuriken Toss, that kind of stuff, and you just can't run away, especially as a Chen or a Rubik, for example. Like, neither of these heroes have any escape mechanisms built in. It doesn't really help that much either. It's only really good if you get like entangled and you don't want to get beat on by a bear and a fish. But Newbee is still continually pressuring. Like, they realize that their lineup needs you and just keep pushing, going for the high ground, trying to get tier 3s, like take a set of racks. I think even that would relieve a lot of the pressure from this lineup, but as soon as they take Pugna, it kind of becomes almost all in.
And it's going to be great fun when the Pugna's got the ether lens on.
Yeah.
He's got to put himself in no trouble at all when he's going to look to get those Nether Blasts in range of the structures. LGD there, going to look to fulminate defense here. Ward here has been dropped from Moo, so it's going to be a little bit tricky for LGD to fight into. We'll see if they're able to do it nonetheless. They'll lose the tier 2 here. Now jumping forward with the Blink, gets the pounce off onto the RTK with the Ravage, will catch out 3 of them. The Rubik as well there in the tree line. Moo getting low, trying to get himself alive with the life drain. That's not going to be enough here. He will go down the first death of this fight. He's walking it off here in the sidelines. He's going to look for the TP. Sylar, has he got the damage? Yes, he has. They'll take down the Rubik as well. Newbee, and we should get everyone else out of there. So they get tier 2. They lose 2 heroes. But nonetheless, as you say, this is exactly what Newbee need to do. They just need to throw their heroes at the objectives, keep these lanes pushed, and that's going to open up all 3 lanes of tier 3s.
Yeah, but they can't afford to do that too many more times. Like, even though they only lost 1-4, it's more the fact that track is available on LGD, and every single time that they lose a team fight, like, you can see the spike in gold. Like, they need to keep pushing, but they can't keep losing that many heroes and not really getting any return for it. Like, killing the tier 2 is fine. But the next time they make a trade, they need to, like, that tier 3 bottom has 80 health. And they can walk over there, throw 1 blast, kill it, and go for the racks. And now that Roshan is not up, like, there's no reason not to just try to go for it, I feel.
Well, I can get here. He's in the jungle. Just spotted the Caribou. It's a little bit too far away for him to go for. Bottom lane, how? Still picking up the farm game. He's got the Yasha done now onto Lincoln's. In fact, maybe he's going to jump in. Let's go to work and still some of that tasty stat point just over the Essence shift. At the same time, Sylar, he's kind of going on his own. He's looking to chase down Tron. He's not going to want to go too deep as we do have backup there for the Chen. We'll hang around on the sidelines. Newbee now, they'll go for the smoke and they're going to go for the plays themselves. Looking towards the top lane. Towards the top, it's just a lone Witch Doctor on his own. DDC be about to take the full force of Newbee, and Hao's going to be the one to lead in there with the waveform starting to force DDC back. But here comes the wraparound, and Moo just drops himself straight in there with the walk, with the blast. We will find the kill there onto the Witch.
Okay pick. I mean, killing DDC, obviously they want something a little bit more valuable. Killing the Bounty Hunter, killing Lone Druid, those are 2 really high priority picks. I don't know if they could even kill the Slark at this point if he has his ultimate off cooldown, because he can just pop it, and they have a couple of things I guess that can cancel Blink through Shadow Dance, but it's still very hard to hold him down if you don't have all your disables up simultaneously. The LGD I still feel are in pretty dominant position. There's so much pressure on Newbee to try to finish this game. If it goes on too much longer, like 10-15 minutes, the Lone Druid is going to have his Assault Gear has finished on top of the Vlads that he already has as an inventory. Lark is going to continue to progress his items, probably going towards Zaddy. I mean, heck, he's almost got it. He only needs like
5K.
700 gold, and he's got a full Scotty in his inventory.
Oh boy.
And then your burst damage isn't going to really do much anymore, because he's going to have roughly 2,000 health.
He's going to be able to fight through whatever you throw at him, really. That's smart. I think, yeah, it's the time bomb is getting very close. Looking over here for NewBee. They need to kind of amount something big. Ogna, I guess. Obviously, he's looking to go for that Aghanim's, but he's still a fair way off it. Do something big here. LGD can continue to just maintain map control. Find these occasional pickoffs. But how now? But see if they can do enough. Be able to walk this off, jumps through. Get the track off. He'll look for the TP out maybe. He'll just steal as much stats as he can before the Morphling gets himself out. NewBee, they are sending him heroes down here. Tulay's going to be on his own up top. Again, just the teams avoiding each other. Very, very carefully as you said, NewBee, if they make 1-2 mistakes, it could be incredibly costly. Point of the game regarding their lineup now. This could be the mistake that they wish they didn't make. Move. No, it's not. It's the turnaround. Which says, get off me, son. Turns around with the life drains to crap himself. So MMY can't get the slaps in late. Coming forward, drops the sentry, but maybe an MMY there straight out there. Gonna hang around, not gonna allow NewBee to get their hands on him. But still, Sylar continuing to farm 15k now on the net worth.
Yeah, the shining hope right now of NewBee is pretty much like how his farm is still very good. Like he's got Yasha Lincolns and 2600 gold in 25 minutes. I'm wondering if he wants to go for E-Blade.
BBC. See what happens there. He's gonna go for TP out and he's not gonna make it. The damage from Howl, take him down. Kill NewBee, and now off the back of that, we'll see if they decide to try and push. I've got the full team towards the mid lane. RTK, Ravage up.
With Ether Lens, you can Nether Blast from outside of tower range, so
yeah,
it's a very strong high ground sieging tool. And I think the LGD realized that even though they're in a good position, all it takes is the rest of NewBee getting outside of your base and you not being able to jump in, and then it feels like you can just lose your tier 3 for free. You know, that's just the kind of power that you have in terms of sieging the high ground. But LGD really don't want that to happen.
RTK flings forward straight up to Tron. Tron will bring back in the army. The bear chasing him down, but the Centaur Stomp will hold back the LD. Tron will be able to get himself back to safety behind the tier 2. Okay, still holding on to that Ravage. Lay managed to steal the Shadow Walk. Coming out. Sentry on the high ground there, LGD, so they will see Lay if he comes forward, but LGD themselves playing it safe again. And we're seeing both teams just being very, very careful with their movements. They're kind of prodding and poking each other, but no one really ready to kind of go in with full force.
Now with Roshan being up, I think LGD they're looking prime to be able to take it. And just having the Blads and the Lone Druid, they can take it without really too much, and then not using the Ravage from RTK will probably have ended up working out if they decide to go for Roshan in the first place, but as it stands right now, maybe it's still sitting top lane. Might need to wait a little bit longer before they want to try to go in.
I mean, what we'll maybe look for now is next item after the Skadi.
Suppose he could probably go for BKB a bit later. He doesn't need to buy it right this second. In the last series, we saw MKB, but I think that was more just in reaction to Radiance and the fact that MKB is a bit more sustained damage. I think Basher is a very common choice at this stage. Butterfly would also be very good, because you want the attack speed, and damage from it is pretty insane. So I honestly, he could buy whatever he wants. I think that Slark is one of those heroes that when you get to this basic item progression, like Blink, Scotty, Midas, anything after that is just icing on the cake.
The smoke up here from LGD. They're looking for the fight, and they're coming in hard around this bottom lane. If they can find a jump on anyone, Lay hanging around in the pit. Still with the Shadow Walk. Gonna walk straight past the lineup of LGD here. He's got eyes on them. Knows that they're gonna be in the pit. They've got the board down. LGD, they're gonna start to go for it. Looks like they are. They're gonna start to try and take down Roche. The bear, they're gonna be able to do it fairly quickly. Let's see if NewBee can try and stop it. Got the Blink Roar available on Beastmaster. Lay still holding out in the pit. He's gonna potentially look for the perfect telekinesis setup. LGD, they're coming out of the pit. They know that they need to fight before they can commit to taking down the Roshan. Go back in, LGD, they're looking to try and catch someone out, but too late, going for the TP out. They can't quite get it in time to cancel it. RTK being held down by the troll trap. Tron in trouble. Maybe blinks on top of him, gets the pounce off, starts to chip away at the Chen, and Chen's going to be the casualty here. Chen down. See if that's going to be enough space for LGD to head back into the pit and go for the finish.
I really think that this is the stage in the game where Newbee already needed to have racks. 30 minutes in and a Chen Pugna lineup not having at least one set of racks down is way past his prime. Pugna doesn't scale too terribly, but the problem is the rest of his team just don't have that much. If Rubik doesn't have Blink, he's going to go in and see that the Roshan's going to be dying here. Picked up by maybe. They just don't have the tools to deal with Slark anymore. That's going to be the biggest issue. And the fact that How he opted for the Midas Lincolns, this is a very defensive build coming in from How. And I guess I kind of understand, like, wanting to be able to use Manta Style to get rid of track and tangle, that kind of stuff. It's not bad, it's just that they need some kind of burst to help finish off the Slark or finish off a single target. How are you going to kill Lone Druid? How are you going to kill Slark? How are you going to kill Tide? You can't really take these heroes down with right-click damage. You need some sort of magical burst, unless you're in like a 60+ minute game where How is 6-slotted. Obviously that's not the case. Kind of wondering if going Manta over E-Blade was the right call here. I even would have been okay with casual Yasha into E-Blade.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Here at the bottom, Chuan has to make his way back up. The Midas there, jumping down on the Wildwing Ripper. LGD claiming himself one of the Chen's creeps. Top lane, the push is coming through from Newbee. They're starting to knock on the door here of LGD. They've got the Necro units out. Fortification will be popped here by the Dire. See how too late, see what they're doing to hang around. Well, RTK blinks in, eyes up too late, takes his time with the gun, now he's coming through the Ravage. Only going to be onto too late though, and the Morphling will be able to get himself back out to safety. Master kill, but would have probably hoped for a little bit more there.
Yeah, the tier 3 tower is actually more than they could have asked for. Forcing the TPs back from LGD gives them time. Time is something that they desperately need at this stage, especially considering how just bought BKB. I don't know how he's supposed to, no pun intended, I don't know what he's going to do in a team fight that's going to do enough damage to be a threat to either of the cores of LGD.
I mean, I guess he shouldn't die.
Yeah, I mean, he won't.
Super defensive.
He definitely won't die. But I also don't know if he's going to be able to kill anybody. I guess they're still relying a lot on Moo to deal a lot of the damage. He has Aghanim Scepter completed, he can spam Life Drain. If you can keep yourself alive during a fight, there's only a couple of ways to stop Life Drain, and after that you can just spam it non-stop, and obviously Self-Decrepify is going to be good to spat out that replicate inside of the woods. But yeah, I don't know, man. This seems really defensive to me.
LGD now themselves ready to try and go for the high ground, maybe jump straight in here on the Slark. He did opt for the Moon Shards, the Skadi. Yeah. So holding that along with the Midas, he is going to be hitting it at a pretty incredible rate. They'll get the roar off onto Sylar. Force back the Lone Druid. He should be fine and maybe just jump straight back in onto Move. RTK doesn't have to Ravage because he used it for that early defense. Now RTK could be the one in trouble. Newbee ready to chase the Tide out of the base. RTK is going to get got out there by the Troll Trap and continue to run though. Michelle will remove that debuff, but they'll still chase him down. They'll throw out the axes. RTK pops the Swan charges. Can he get himself out of it? I don't think he can. The bullshit I was chasing him. He pops the back. He's doing his best. Oh, he lives. RTK gets slid out of there. Blinks back towards the base. And he doesn't even die.
Poor staff, man.
RTK. Alright.
That's gotta feel so bad if you're Newbee. Chase him like that, you know he didn't have Ravage. I mean, heck, it's still not even after another 15 seconds after the fight's over. Don't even kill him. Oh man, that feels bad.
And now he's got Greaves.
Yeah.
So if you didn't kill him then,
it's gonna be even harder.
You're not killing him now. Nice one, alright.
That was some
I bet
teamwork,
he
though.
knew he had it in the bag as well.
Dude, MMY...
Guys, I'm fine. I'm fine.
MMY had his back too.
Blood is going to find it, jumps straight onto Lane. Lane gets the telekinesis off, but MMY's there to come through as well. Throws down the Shuriken. Maybe Dark Pact, he wants to chase this, he's not going to. Keeps a cool head, doesn't want to go for the YOLO jump in. Rather keep his life intact and doesn't manage to find the kill. Top lane, How? The split push out. Guns the bear. Sylar. a little bit of a 1v1, but how he's going to be able to jump back out to replicate here, and he will do indeed. Gets himself away, but still, just as you said earlier, just keeping the pressure on these side lanes and forcing LGD to back defend them rather than being able to find anything across the map themselves.
Yeah, the way that Hao's playing it is really good. I feel like his items are really defensive, but I guess if you go with the mentality of I can have the BKB in case I need it, I still farm pretty fast. And I'm already like sitting on 3,400 gold towards my next item. If he wants to go for E-Blade now or go for Butterfly, you know, Lifesteal, whatever. It's still going to do a decent amount of damage in team fights, and the longer you hold on to BKB without using it, a 10-second BKB with more items is always going to be better. So, for now, we have held on pretty well.
Again, just NewBee avoiding the fight here from LGD. This is kind of what you come to expect from teams. They're a bunch of smart guys, so it's very rare that we kind of see each team getting caught out in awkward positions.
Yeah.
It's normally when it's kind of just a clash of ideas and a clash of heads where they say we're going to fight, and the other team's like, well, we're ready to fight as well, and then one of them comes out a little bit less.
It's one of those situations though where both teams have a hero who gives vision. Bounty Hunter for LGD, obviously you can throw out tracks, you can go around, scout things, and then Beastmaster from NewBee. You have two heroes that also can D-ward. Beastmaster being the one from NewBee, he has the gem, and there's also a gem on the side of the LGD, DDC's carrying it. So they're both vying for vision control right now. And with that said, LGD also going to be popping the smoke here. Looking for something, but it's going to be more of a warding expedition than anything else for the time being, because they're pretty much smoke blind. Sometimes that's okay. Like when you know that you might not find a hero, but you also know that you have wards to place, it's one of the best ways to ward without having to just get immediately taken down. Looks like Dulé is going to get himself the heck out of here. Gem.
So again, just teams reacting to each other around the map, but no one finding the kills. Keeping the control there, and in terms of the graph, actually, what kind of difference are we seeing? It is close in terms of the numbers.
Yeah, the reason why, even though it's relatively close in terms of gold and experience, it doesn't really matter because the heroes on the side of LGD just have better scaling. Actually, a Chen is not really going to offer a whole heck of a lot, but Rubik is kind of in the same boat, especially given the fact that he doesn't have anything. Like, he doesn't even have a Force Staff, and it's 36 minutes into the game, so he is like hard position 5, doing like everything because Chuan bought Force Staff and Aghanims. So in order for this guy to have impact, he's got to start getting some farm priority, but the issue is he doesn't have a map to work with. All the farm on the map is pretty much being taken by Hao and Moo. So he's never really going to be that relevant. Whereas Witch Doctor, he doesn't really need anything because his team has such a good fight on top of it. Like, maybe he can go into a team fight. He pretty much can't die unless he makes a huge mistake and like pops his Dark Pact and doesn't Shadow Dance after and gets like bored in the face. So the dynamic of the teams is drastically different, and I still feel like how he's still about an item or two away from being able to have some giant impact, but he does finish the Butterfly. Butterfly is a step in the right direction because that allows him to pretty much sit here and just right-click. So I assume with this item progression, he's probably just going to go Satanic next. Kind of the only thing that allows him to stay inside of the team fight and just continually hit. And it does probably mean that he will need to buy MKB at some point too, if he wants to make sure that he can go through the Radiance Miss.
Things are coming out of this top lane. NewBee, they're going to look to try and do what they can to take a second set of racks, keep that pressure on that they need to be applying, and be a response here from LGD. Salah and MMY coming here with the defense. May see a bit of a clash here if one of the sides can get a jump. Salah coming out fairly far, maybe jumps on and Hal will put the BKB. Continue to chase in there. I was going to find the route. Hal waveforms out, look for the straight TP away, and he'll make it. He gets himself out of there. GD just unable to have the catch to get anyone and punish NewBee for coming on down.
That's a nice movement. I think the Morphling play of this game has kept NewBee in a position where LGD are never really able to threaten high ground. That's a good thing, because if Lone Druid gets to your base, and you have to start teleporting people back, and they start sieging with the bear, things are going to get a little tough for you. So the fact that Hao has been able to so successfully keep the lanes pushed out is a very, very good thing for them. And I think Roshan's up real soon. So I'm assuming that LGD are just going to go for it straight away. They got the timer pretty much right on. Can Newbee fight around the pit? That's the other thing. A lot of the time when you pick Pugna, it's not just for pushing, but it's also for Nether Ward. I don't feel like Nether Ward is that good against OG's lineup. Lone Druid, he has a couple of spells that cost mana, but his health pool is massive and his mana cost is low. Same thing could also be said for Tidehunter, and Bounty is kind of in the same boat. So the hero is very limited in terms of what he offers, outside of like life drain and using Nether Blast on buildings. That's pretty much his whole function in the team.
It looks like as well, Newbee, they're not going to respond to LGD's attempt to go for Roshan, but the ping's just coming out on the lanes, on the objectives. Newbee, they're aware, they said, we need to get these racks at this point. Slug's going to be able to pick up the Aegis here for LGD. DR now back with defense. Chuan, oh, he's going to get caught out. Left alone, maybe an MMY there. They'll find the kill onto Chen. LGD will be able to clear out this push that kind of gets started from the side of Newbee on the top lane. So hold on to the racks up top. LGD will need to defend, and Trolland is just inside incredibly rich. We saw him pick up a B, didn't he, for the yes, he's got.
He's had it for a while.
On top of that, what does he go for?
I mean, anything after this point, it's like go Basher.
Yeah,
having the extra lockdown.
Yeah,
having the extra lockdown is really nice since you already have the attack speed on top of it. You could also, I guess he's gonna have to sell Midas, or yeah, he pretty much has to sell Midas because he only has a slot left, and he definitely can't get rid of Boots on the bear.
Jumping in onto Hal. Hal staying around for the War CK. Again, trying to catch out Hal with the Ravage, but Ravage going to be not the best tool for controlling a Morphling.
To be fair, if that one had hit, I think they would have killed him. But it's a bit like that Ravage, even though it missed, I still think was a better Ravage than the one he used at the tier 1. Remember when it was just him and the Slark and it was like 10 minutes into the game or whatever, and they thought they could kill him and there was actually like no chance? That situation, they actually could have gotten a kill. The bottom one, there was just no chance. So that Ravage was actually, even though it missed, I understand where he's coming from.
Got the Basher now on Slot, so he is going to be having some more of that control that we talked about this is necessary for dealing with this Morphling.
Yep.
Well,
yeah, he eats his Moonshard, makes room for it. This is a scary point in the game. Like, having the MKB and the Basher pretty much means that there is no physical way that How can man fight the Slark if his ultimate's up. Because of the fact that How doesn't have lifesteal too, that makes it even harder. Like, that's another reason why Satanic is kind of necessary if you're not going to go E-Blade. Because Slark has ways of recovering his health in a teamfight without the use of lifesteal, just by getting in and out. You know, he pounces into fog for like 4 or 5 seconds, he's back at, 30-40% more health than what he was before. How doesn't really have that luxury.
There we go. Going on the How, but straight out to the Replicate. Basher is now on, as you expected, the Lone Druid as well. So if these two heroes can get their teeth onto that Morphling, they're going to have a chance, but How playing it very, very carefully at the moment.
I don't think he can carry with these items, actually. Like, he is going for lifesteal now, but it's so difficult. Like, he's relying heavily on his team to back him up. Like, they need to roar like the bear or kill the Lone Druid super fast, and then have Satanic available because the Slark can just tunnel vision him. No, it's rough.
It's an interesting one. I swear we don't see this every day. After the Ags, Tron on the Chen went for the Ether Lens.
A little bit different. He's only got level 1 penitence too. Yeah, he's only on 11. Wow, it's 42 minutes in. I was like, wait a minute, why does he only level 1 penitence? We're also gonna see RTK just casually TP out here. I didn't realize he was so low level.
Chase down of How, he's put the BKB. Should be okay here. LGD quite got enough tools close to get. We can see maybe he is to chase this down. The rest of the Newbee are there. Tule, Antoine, not going to be able to jump in, but he'll just clear out of the wave with the backup of RTK and MMY. Look for some action as a group. They've got the Ravage back online. Pressure Orb very closely being finished here for Tide. About 1k, and he'll have that recipe. See if LGD have the courage to try and jump onto the high ground with that Ravage and try and force something out of the side of Newbee. At the moment, they are looking for the split. They've got Rubik and the Morphling up on the. Now, Is ready to jump straight back. And he'll do that now. He'll back up. And again, we're seeing the same kind of move. LGD just being pulled up and down the map. NewBee now with a smoke from their base. See if they're able to catch out anyone on the side of LGD, but LGD themselves very much grouped up there all around their own dire jungle. So it's just going to be a question if NewBee in the right direction here.
Well, if How, for whatever reason, gets picked off, the game is pretty much just over. He doesn't have any money for buyback. He has to play a very aggressive style, which is super dangerous. Like, he needs the help, the Beastmaster Hawk, pretty much at all times to make sure that he doesn't get caught out. Fortunately, LGD don't have amazing pick potential. Best form of initiation is ROTK, Blinking, and Ravaging, which, if you have a Replicate out, you can dodge it if you're not standing, like, point blank. Still difficult, but it definitely can be done. I think NewBee realized that can't allow themselves to be in a position where their lanes are pushed all the time, because if LGD maintain the entirety of the map control, there's just no way that they're ever going to be able to threaten. They're never going to be able to go for Roche, they can't try to siege or anything like that, but the game has kind of reached a state where even though NewBee maintain a lead in terms of racks, they have shown, just by the way they're positioning and moving around the map, that they don't want to fight. Like, they just can't. Our RTK is going to have Refresher on Tide with Greaves and Force Staff on top of that. Maybe he's making his way towards his next item too. I think once How gets Satanic, that would probably be the best opportunity they have to take a real engagement and maybe walk out with a win.
For the moment, MMY. Eyes on How, they'll be jumping from Maybe. He's going to start to initiate this fight. Hand of God will come through. How managed it himself away with the waveform. Run Maybe with the Shadow Dance, closing the gap. Go any further in. Again, just teams chipping at each other, but no one bring home the bait.
Understandable that both teams are passive. LGD are giving a lot of respect to the fact that NewBee can kill their base very quickly. Like having the Beastmaster Aura, the bo3, the Pugna, the Chen. Bear is getting quite low.
There's quite the range on that life drain there with the active ether lens.
It's nuts.
About a couple of screens.
Yeah, it's at least one.
LTs, it's got the range there.
1400 with the old lens. Not too bad. I would actually like to see a little bit more Pugna, to be honest. I think that he, with the addition of Ether Lens, became a heck of a lot stronger. Because he's one of those heroes where, if you build mobility items, you have no health. If you want to make it.
Oh, here we go, trying to kill How. Not gonna work. Yeah.
That hero,
not gonna work.
He can't die like that. Like, the only way they kill him is ravaging him. That's it. If they don't have Ravage, they're not killing him. Unless he gets, like, I don't know, some insane bash RNG and he's not able to morph through the damage.
I mean, even if they get Bissell there, I guess if they've got the Bounty or the Witch Doctor or, well, I guess the Tide as well, then they can go for it. Because the Slark, he's got about 2.8k, so he is close to that relic if he does want to go through this. I mean, do you imagine he is just going to finish off that Abyssal Blade so they can kill them all?
Yeah, but even with the Abyssal finish, that item doesn't necessarily mean they're going to kill him. It gives them a better chance, of course.
Yeah, but they'll still get them all.
Yeah, but they need another way of breaking the Lincolns too. So Slark can't break Lincolns on his own. Oh, Moo.
He can break Moo, or he can at least try to. No, Moo says he's out. He creeps himself, TP's away, try and slice to the left. He's off with the TP as well, and maybe can't find those pickups.
Yeah, it's a rough game. There's no, like, just no catch really on either team. Blink Ravage and a Blink Roar is it. That is all of it. And considering we've been seeing so much Batrider today, I would say that's a significant chunk less than what we're used to so far here. But
Dire's middle tower
game's still pretty much the same. Just trying to control the map, trying to push out the lanes as hard as they can.
Over time, though, because of the control, LGD is starting to break away in terms of gold. You've got about a 12k net worth lead here for the side. The farmer's certainly real, and this was expected with the Midases that they were running, and obviously the Radiance on the Lone Druid. The farmer's going to be there, and that is your Abyssal now on Slark. So if they can finally catch out, it's going to be a BKB for the Lone Druid as well.
Yeah, I think this stage you just puts it on the bear.
They just fought it there.
Yeah, they certainly did.
Wow.
I mean, obviously, a misclick. Somebody messed up. A lot of people have the glyph bound to something, and maybe he just hit it on accident, so...
I mean, that could be painful.
It could be.
It could be.
If Newbee can find the pick.
And they're going to look for Sun. DDC's there, throwing out the cast. How from the BKB moving in off the bear? There will be trapped. Well, he tries to go for the second, but there's the BKB and now Moo. Oh, the third kill bash. Moo in a little bit of trouble. He's going to try and heal himself up with the life drain. He's doing his best, but the 3 heroes closing in onto him, and it's a double kill for maybe cleaning him up, as well as the Beastmaster. They do get themselves the kills, and first bit of action there we've seen in a couple of hours.
That was a mistake into another mistake, which was thinking that you weren't going to get first hit bashed. Always bet against yourself on luck, man.
Now how? There's the gush to break the Lincolns. I believe it's still on cooldown. No, he's got it. He's going to drop it now. Ravage as well. They're going in on how. They're giving it them all, and it's going to get the kill. Now the look for Lay. He tried for the TP, but the cast was there, and that's a double kill for maybe. Suddenly, LGD finding those big pickoffs. TK pops the refresh. I mean, he says we're ready to go. He wants to get himself back in with the Ravage available. The buyback here from Hal on the Morphling. Sylar is beginning to push in that mid lane. They're going to have to come up with some kind of defense. MM-wise there. We've also got ROTK just round the corner. As we saw, of course, with that second Ravage already ready and available. Sent by the bear. Heals up, so he's ready for this fight if it does kick off. How heavy LGD want to commit? Has been used on how they can kill again. This to be absolutely huge. They'll just chip away at this tier 3. See now joining the fray, and Slark is right behind them. Out. Be incredibly careful. One more death on this Morphling and it could spell the end of the game for Newbee. Maybe he's going to jump straight in. On to Move with the eventual blade. Move with the bug. An extra Ravage from RTK. This time it's a huge one. Catching Hao, catching Chuan. Tule backing himself off. They'll get the space for the tier 3. Tule comes in with the Raw Sylar. Sylar gets forced up back towards safety. He's going to be fine. The paralyzing cast holding back the advance from Newbee. Some fantastic bouncies there. And Newbee won't be able to catch anyone out. They lose the tier 3. Now LGD get away with that, and that of course is the buyback now expended from the Pugna Moo as well.
Well, this is kind of the best chance that they have of taking a team fight. Ravage is down, the pressure is down. This is the point where Newbee would feel the most confident, I think, in winning a 5 versus 5 if they actually had buyback on their cores, but fortunately buyback on Hao and Moo both down. That makes it a really scary prospect, but they're going to go for the push. If it doesn't work, they can always fall back to trying to go for Roshan, but I think with the Ether Lens and the Pugna, they should be able to siege this effectively, especially again not having to worry about that Ravage.
Triple looking good ahead. It's going to be mate jumping in onto Moo. Abyssal as well, Moo. This is going to be a dieback if he falls, and he will. That's going to be a Pugna down for 100 seconds. The cast bounces between Tule, between Lay, the triple Lay. That's going to be 2 down, and now Rubik, the one being chased away by the bear, but it's in fact the base that they've got their eyes on, because Hao, he's going for the objectives. He's cleared out the ranks on the top, and now he's looking for mid. He says he doesn't need a team to get the objectives, and he's doing it, Hao. He is keeping them in the game with this Morphling performance.
He's actually carrying so hard, it's unbelievable. Like, I thought at first his item choice was a little bit weird because he was building like BKB, Lincolns, and Manta together. Like, that is the most offensive build you can ever do in this situation.
Defensive.
But, yeah.
Oh, was it? You said offensive.
Offensive.
A bit offensive.
Did I?
I think so.
Well, if I said offensive, I meant defensive. But I thought maybe I didn't. Who knows?
Maybe you did.
But either way, Satanic finished. I mean, this is clearly all in, and he's got bots off cooldown. He does not have buyback.
Let's see what LGD can do there. Ow. Been a bit of a miracle maker so far. Gonna need a few of them to hold on here. The mid rack's been taken down by LGD. That's going to be Abyssal ready on the Sylar as well for this next fight. Still 35 seconds without Moo on the Pugna. Beastmaster's back in it, and he does have that run. They're going to smoke. They're going to look for some kind of opening to jump in onto LGD with how he's continuing to push up that top lane. Are we going to see a bit of a base race action here? That would be.
They don't have a tier 3 mid. He could go for Megas if they don't
it would be
get out.
Tasty, but maybe he's going to try and go for slaps. Now he's off, and they keep themselves in it. How with the pressure, forcing the Slark to back. Base looking a little bit worse for wear here on the side of the Radiant.
The illusions, man. They're going in.
What a man. What a base situation here from both sides. The Radiant still with that top set of racks on a tier 3 compared to LGD. Just sitting on those middle set of racks. The tier 3s are gone. We could see this game coming to some very, very clutch situations. It hasn't already, really. Where how? They've just got to be so aware of how. They need to have someone ready to jump in on Morphlink. They can't let Hal get away with this. They've already let him get away with too much. I mean, he's level 25. His KDA's 132. And they've only got 6 kills. It's 54 minutes in.
Yeah, it's not the most action-packed game.
I mean, this is... Yeah, this is... It's some crazy stuff, but it's not crazy stuff.
It's a game of movement, much. Oh. There's a sad bear.
Yeah. Bless. Right.
Yeah, this game has been more about map positioning, pushing lanes, trying to avoid team fights that you know you can't win. Like, how do you fight into double Ravage with Newbee's lineup? It's like your whole team is dead by the time the second Ravage ends.
I mean, look at the lead. In terms of money,
it's
they're 30,000 ahead.
But the thing is, if they get Mega'd, LGD can still lose.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite a finish. I mean, LGD. I mean, I don't know the last time we saw a game where it goes to a 30k lead and then there's still the potential just like that for the other team to win.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those games though where it's gonna go so long that whoever loses one team fight is gonna lose their entire base. Like, look at how fast LGD pushed the mid and bottom racks after How decided not to TP back. Like, they were missing, I think, 3 heroes at the time, like 1 or 2 of them respawned when they were pushing in, but so scary to try to fight in that situation that if you die once, instantly game over. There's no coming back from that at all.
Okay, gonna go for Roche. We'll have it. Maybe we can do to stop it, but see once again, that creep wave on the top lane is getting scarily close to the area of LGD's base, and Hal is around the corner.
They got the rat ward though. They see it.
Out. So careful. A lot resting on his shoulders this game. So far he's been doing great. He's been able to hold the weight.
He's got buyback.
Hal, don't do anything crazy. Like, himself out of there.
Spooky. Spooky.
What else can you go for? He's got 4k. Buyback on cooldown, as you said. It's only for another 45 seconds, so that's soon going to be less of an issue. I guess moonshots?
Yeah, he can go moonshots, but
he needs to have the buyback again.
Yeah, he needs buyback, and I also think he needs to get rid of Mantra.
And he needs to be careful here now. Maybe jumping in onto Hal. Hal waveforms himself away, and then White pops the Lincolns. Maybe he has still got that Abyssal Blade. He can get in range. And he's just going to turn towards the illusion, take that out. Chuan going for a ballsy TP, but the Abyssal coming down onto the head of the Chen. RTK will pick that one up. Chuan does have buyback.
Well, he can buy bots too, I think, and maybe go for a backdoor.
Well, he's got to be careful about his own backdoor here, because maybe jumping straight across to him, Moo will find a space to TP out. They will punish the Rubik. That kill. Again, straight away. Bottom lane, 2 lane. He realizes there's action going elsewhere, and he knows that consistently Newbee need to have a lane pushed against the side of LGD, so there's always that imminent threat of the rat potential.
If he can get the creeps close enough to base, they can actually bot the Hawk. They can use the Hawk to go mid and potentially rax them if...
Oh, he wants to fight, but maybe he did start casting the Dark Pack, so Tule still went in them with the Raw after clearly seeing the Dark Pack coming out. Maybe a bit of a misplay, and now maybe it's going to go to Hal, and Hal came in for this, and Hal's dead! Oh no! Too late! It was just too late! The Raw! And that was painful. Hal's going to buy back after that bit of a mess up. And,
this is the worst position to be in if you're NewBee, because none of the lanes are pushed. Like, you need at least 1 lane to be at base right now. And I think the plan was to try to send a Hawk, but he got the Hawk killed by creeps. So he like ran it into the creep wave, the Hawk died, there's nowhere for the Slark, the Morphling TP2 to actually go for the backdoor anymore. So then he's just like, okay, well, I guess I gotta try to team fight, and he ended up getting baited into a horrible situation. This is
okay. This is LGD saying we're done with this. We want to finish this one and get ourselves to game 2. They're into the base. Newbee do have everyone up, but a couple of buybacks are on cooldown. Maybe jumping straight forward onto Moon, who gets himself forced off the base. RTK coming in with the first Ravage, catches out Hal. Hal turns more to strength, gets himself back towards base to wait for Major second Ravage. 5-man Ravage from RTK, coming out the Shiva's guard as well. BKB on the lone true spare, looking for Moon. They'll take Moon down. That's going to be putting it down for 80 seconds. And now, that was the stolen Ravage here, catching out maybe spelled to back himself off. How desperately NewBee trying to push LGD away from his base, but they're taking the 2 tier 4s. They'll get the kill onto DDC. LGD are just going for the fountain. They're going for the entry. They're going for the win. Can NewBee stop it? It doesn't look like they can, and LGD will finally take the game. And what a strange game there was. There was a lot of weird shit that went on there, Andy, and well, LGD take it in the end. But it did. 58 minutes in, 7:25. Let's get a game. Oh, what the heck happened?
Well, I think a couple of things happened. First,
How happened?
MMY dominated the laning phase. Right, like he killed How 2 times in lane pretty much, one with a haster and second time with body blocking from Sylar as well. He controlled the early game so well, kept